people, it's me, Anja. My pronouns are she and her, and welcome back to my channel for another recent reads video. The first book on this list is called Loot Magic. This book is a middle-grade historical fantasy, and it follows a young African-American main character as she learns her family's magic, and then her family's magic takes a supernatural turn, and it's set in 1963. I rated this book 4 stars because I really enjoyed it. First of all, the world building was absolutely so interesting. It was so immersive, and I really enjoyed the magic. Like, literally, this magic system is so cool, and it's absolutely so inventive. The plot was so intriguing and absolutely so engaging. The characters were so well developed and so distinct. The family dynamic, especially the relationship between the main character and her brother, as you can see on the cover, was literally so wonderful and so lovely. I will gladly read more books from this author in the future because they are literally so talented. Because I was so immersed into the story and into this wonderful adventure. Literally, this book was so well done. So anyway, with all that said, I rated this book 4 stars and I would highly recommend it. The next book on this list is called Yusuf Azim is Not a Hero. This book is a middle-grade contemporary following a young Muslim main character during the 20th anniversary of 9/11 as he tries to hold on to his joy and his friendships in the face of heartache and stereotypes. This book was really good, and honestly, I really enjoyed it. I rated it 4 stars because, first of all, the plot was absolutely so engaging and so intriguing. The characters were so well developed and so distinct, and they honestly felt so authentic. With these more emotional, hard-hitting books, I'm always afraid that I won't enjoy it as much as I feel like I'm supposed to. But honestly, this book was absolutely worth all of its hype and so much more because I really enjoyed it. The story itself was so emotional and it was so well done. It was literally so well written. And I just really enjoyed it because the plot was so intriguing. The family dynamics were so wonderful. The characters were so well developed and so distinct. And this book was absolutely so good. And it was clearly written from the heart. You know what I mean? Literally, this book was so good. But anyway, with all that said, I rated this book 4 stars and I would highly recommend it. The next book on this list is called A Year to the Day. This book is a YA contemporary and it follows a young main character who's grieving her sister, and it's set in reverse chronological order, and honestly, that was my biggest critique with this story because I didn't like the format at all, and honestly it made the story so much more confusing than it should have been, and it didn't really make the story more intriguing or more immersive because I was so confused in the very beginning. I almost wanted to DNF it, but I decided to keep going, and honestly I rated this book 3 stars, so it wasn't really worth it, although the story itself did have merit and value in it, in the characters, in the sister relationship, in the plot, in stuff like that. The family dynamics were solid and everything, but I just didn't enjoy this book as much as I was really expecting to, and I had really high expectations for this book because this author previously wrote Fall from the Tree ages ago. I think 3 to 4 or 3 to 5 years ago, which I really enjoyed. So when I heard that she was writing a new book and she hasn't written a book in quite a minute, I was very excited. But unfortunately, this book just didn't live up to my expectations, unfortunately. So anyway, with all that said, I rated this book 3 stars because it wasn't as good as I was really hoping it would be. The next book on this list is called This Wicked Fate. For those who don't know, this book is a YA urban fantasy sequel to This Poison Heart, which was a sapphic YA urban fantasy retelling of The Secret Garden, written by the same author who previously wrote Cinderella is Dead. And this book was a really solid sequel, and I really enjoyed it. I rated this book 4 stars because it was so good. First of all, the sapphic romance was so lovely, and it was absolutely so well developed. The characters were so well developed and so distinct, and I absolutely loved them. The plot was so intriguing and so engaging, and the world building was absolutely so well done. This book definitely exceeds my expectations for the author's next book, which I believe is their middle grade debut in September or something like that. Maybe August or October actually. But anyway, I'm so excited for their next book because this book was so good. The The world building, the plot, the sapphic romance, the characters, like the family dynamics, were literally so wonderful and so well done. This book is absolutely so good, and I loved how it did like the Greek mythology like aspect of it. You know what I mean? Like, this book is so good. This duology is so underrated, and it deserves all its hype and so much more. So with that said, I rated this book 4 stars, and I really enjoyed it. So with that said, I would highly recommend it. The last book on this list, and certainly not the least, is called Worlds Composed of Sea and Sky. This book is a YA contemporary with 2 alternating timelines, one in modern day and one in 1862, and their stories are connected through poetry and history. Honestly, I rated this book 4 stars because I really enjoyed it. First of all, the alternating timelines worked so well together, and even though the modern day timeline was way more fleshed out, I still enjoyed both of them, and there was never a point in time where I felt like one of them was like unnecessary or anything like that, if that makes any sense. Although sometimes I felt like the 2 storylines were sometimes like too similar, but maybe like one could argue like that was the point. You know what I mean? Like, the 2 characters were both so well developed and so distinct. The plot was very like immersive and very intriguing and very engaging. I had somewhat high expectations for this book because this author wrote The Edge of Summer as well, which I really enjoyed recently, but I would say that I prefer The Edge of Summer over this book. But anyway, with that said, this book was still a really solid like debut. It was really well done and well developed in every single element, like the romances, like the plot, the world building, the timelines, like the family dynamics. This book was well done. But anyway, with all of that said, I rated this book 4 stars, and I would highly recommend it. So, in conclusion, I would highly recommend all of these books except for A Year to the Day. Although if somebody asked me which book on this list was my favorite, I would say This Wicked Fate. But anyway, with all of that said, if you enjoyed this video, please don't hesitate to give it a big thumbs up. If you made it all the way to the end of the video, comment down below the mermaid emoji. Thanks for watching, subscribe to my channel if you're new, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!